ra đến đây là không gian khoảng cách, thì cô thấy là rất là được vinh dự mà về tuổi tác hai bà cháu, ba bà cháu thì thật ra là không có già tí nào, lúc nào cũng thấy trong tâm hồn nó vui tươi trẻ khỏe ra. Cô gần 60 rồi nhưng mà lúc nào cũng thấy trẻ khỏe chứ không già đâu. Nhiều người tâm niệm là già thì cứ tủi phận cơ, cứ âm thầm chịu đựng. Thế như cô thì cô bảo có con có cháu vui vẻ này, không có già, lúc nào cũng cứ cười tươi lên cho nó trẻ trung.
Those are the words of Mrs. Viet Nam, a sister from the land of Quan Họ tradition of Bắc Ninh. She is one of many stories featured in the timeless photo exhibition. This is an event celebrating International Day of Older Persons, hosted by the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, in the collaboration of the General Office of Population and Family Planning, Ministry of Health. Besides, there are the presence of two goodwill ambassadors of the program, Vietnam Idol 2015 Trọng Hiếu and saxophonist Quyền Văn Minh.
Mặc dù là sớm đến cái tuổi cao tuổi, nhưng vui sống, vui với công việc, vui với gia đình mà vẫn làm được những việc có ích xã hội, thì mình có thể xuất hiện, mình có thể chia sẻ với rất nhiều những người bạn cao tuổi khác mà có thể mình không thể biết được, mà chỉ có thể thông qua những cái chương trình của chúng mình. Cái trách nhiệm của người cao tuổi nó càng lớn hơn khi mà có nhiều thời gian để tiếp cận với các cháu và thậm chí đối với cả xã hội. Cái đấy là một cái điều mà tôi cho rằng qua những cái sự kiện như thế này, cái việc mà những người cao tuổi sẽ làm, sẽ giúp đỡ để cho xã hội, để mình vẫn có ích hơn cho xã hội và để xã hội nó đẹp hơn khi mà người cao tuổi có nhiều thời gian thôi.
There are many interesting stories withdrawn from every glare, every look, every smile, in every picture. On the photos, the elderly share their lifetime experiences, the changes in their thinking, the hopes and expectations from family, community, and society. As the name of the exhibition indicates, the arrangement combining the image of two generations, young and old, has removed stereotype thinking about the generation gap, as well as negative comments about aging. In response to the Action Month of the Elderly, this event brings out more positive perceptions of older people in Vietnam to the public, changing the challenge of population aging into opportunities and enhancing the understanding of the dynamics of an aging society. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Showing Vietnam on VTC10 NetViet. In our program today, we would like to welcome the acting representative of UNFPA in Vietnam, Mrs. Ritsu Nacken, and she will share with us on how we can raise the awareness of the public about the well-being of older peoples and the social policies supporting this well-being of the older generation. Thank you so much, Ms. Ritsu Nacken, for joining our program today. First of all, we just in the space of the exhibitions Timeless, celebrating the International Day for Older Persons. How can this exhibition supporting to raise awareness of the public and to raise the voice of older generation in Vietnam?
So it is really about the story of young and old learning together, living together, and have a prosperous life together. And I think everyone really understood during the ceremony that the old age does not mean anything negative. Actually, it is an opportunity, and people can really take advantage of the large number of older persons who can contribute positively to the society. And I saw a lot of participants, including, as you mentioned, the ambassador of Israel and the General Office for Population and Family Planning, including the schools and our two ambassadors. All of them have stories about learning from the older persons and really not only supporting them but also being supported by older persons. And the family value is particularly very important in Vietnam. So we are very hopeful that this exhibition can really help generate the interest of the public.
And also, what are some additional activities for the public of Vietnam in order to celebrate the International Day for Older Persons?
So one of the other activities we are organizing to commemorate the International Day of Older Persons is the writing exhibition that we work with the middle school and high schools, some of them in Hanoi, and ask the students to write about their grandparents and their stories, the experience they had with them, and we will select the winners who will get the prize. So that's one of the ways to engage the younger generation on this issue. Additionally, later this week we have an event with the private sector together with the VCCI in Ho Chi Minh City to discuss the aging population and the challenges and opportunities with the private sector companies. Obviously, the aging population has a great implication in the labor force related issues, and private sector may need to also consider at this point already how they can take advantage of the older generations.
How does the issues of generation gaps and the difficulties that the older generation engage in the society of Vietnam is national issues and also international issues?
We also need to recognize that the aging is a global phenomenon. Right now the focus is very much on Europe and East Asia, but even Africa, we will see the aging population sooner or later. Already the fertility rate in Africa is going down. So it is a global issue that we need to already thinking about tackling in the international fora and also nationally.
In the context of fulfilling the Millennium Development Goals towards the Sustainable Development Goals, the issues of elderly becoming more important than ever. Vietnam has officially entered the aging stage since 2011. In 2014, the number of elderly people has increased to 10% in the total population and is expected to double to 23% by 2014. The great achievements in health and living standards have helped to enhance the average life expectancies, but at the same time brings many new challenges arising in health care and social security.
Thực tế hiện nay của Việt Nam, trên 70% dân số vẫn chủ yếu sống dựa vào con cái và không có cái chế độ bảo hiểm xã hội, không có cái chế độ an sinh để đáp ứng được nhu cầu của người cao tuổi hiện nay. Đấy là một thực tế vô cùng khó khăn. Thích ứng với cái tốc độ già hóa để quan tâm chăm sóc người cao tuổi tốt hơn. Đấy là một cái thách thức rất lớn của chúng ta hiện nay. Chúng ta cần quan tâm đến vấn đề thực chất của vấn đề đấy, thực chất của việc đạt mục tiêu thiên niên kỷ. Đấy là tuổi thọ cao như vậy, khỏe mạnh. Đấy là một vấn đề thách thức hiện nay của chúng ta.
Besides being considered as the achievement of development, population aging also creates challenges in terms of economy, society, and culture at the individual, family, community, and society level. The biggest challenge is changing the labor structure, since the proportion of older people aged 45 to 60 will increase. Hence, the rate of labor market entering will tend to decrease. First, to meet the manpower needs for the economy, countries must use older workers. In Vietnam, the retirement age is also an issue of concern.
Lưu ý đến những cái đối tượng phụ nữ là lao động trực tiếp, những người công nhân thì họ cần phải nghỉ hưu sớm. Nhưng với những cái đối tượng phụ nữ trí thức, đối tượng phụ nữ làm quản lý thì đây là một cái lãng phí về nhân lực, nguồn nhân lực của chúng ta.
Keep the work environment flexible as much as possible, because we are moving toward ageless society. Everyone needs to work, both men and women, and at all ages.
Elderly people can be active and dynamic participants in the society. This is an important economic resource for the development, not just to be seen as passive receivers of social services by the state. Vietnam needs to promote employment opportunities, provide retirement age and conditions in a flexible manner to to ensure the quality of life for the elderly, the increasing population in Vietnam. How does the policies for the well-being of the older generation plays a role in completing the commitment of Vietnam for MDGs?
The target date for SDG, which is 2030, is when the older generation Vietnamese will be 20% of the population. It is a large cohort of the entire population. So we need to make sure how we can support first in terms of healthcare and the pension and social protection, but also take advantage of this population who has a lot of knowledge and experience in the labor force. In the context of the ASEAN integration, and the labor skills will be more scarce when the population ages, and we need to make sure that older people can also build their skills and get more opportunities to contribute to the society and income and economic development.
How do you view the effectiveness of the social policies in supporting the older peoples? Is there any positive changes in these policies?
Yes, the Vietnamese government is fully aware of the challenges of the aging population, and they have already made a lot of efforts, including establishing the law on older persons and the specific circulars such as Circular 35 about healthcare for older persons. However, their efforts are still falling short. Currently, only 20% of labor force is participating in the pension scheme. So the government will need to explore more strategically the ways to cover wider workforce, particularly those who are in the informal sector, which is a large population in Vietnam.
What are the recommendations that UNFPA would like to give for the government of Vietnam in order to establish a sustainable policies for the well-being of older peoples in Vietnam, as well as to raise the awareness of the public and the private sectors?
We need to really look into what's the possible ways to sustainably finance this old care service system. The second point is the social protection. As I mentioned, the pension scheme needs to be improved and cover the informal sector so that older people have minimum income to enjoy their lives. 10 working people supporting one older person, and this will soon become 6-1 or 7-1, and finally 3-1 by 2050. So the labor force planning has to be part of the development planning process for the government. And in many countries which are facing aging population, they are increasing retirement age. While Vietnam has a quite early retirement age, 55 for women and 60 for men. And it is not very feasible or realistic to continue this way while the population aging is progressing very quickly, particularly for women who live longer than men. Retiring 55 means that they will have about 25 years until they are eligible for the social allowance at the age of 80. So I think it is important the government to really consider the ways to raise awareness on this issue and get the public understanding about the need to raise the retirement age.
Thank you, Mrs. Ritsu Nacken, so much for all of your sharing today, and I hope that UNFPA will continue to support Vietnam in achieving all of the MDGs, as well as the supporting Vietnam in facing the aging population. That's the end for our Sharing Vietnam today. Any questions and recommendations, please email to sharingvietnam@netvittv.net. Thank you and see you again.